We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. And I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. So, welcome to another episode of Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 13 years, and my goal is to help both men and women be in relationships that's best for them. If you saw my Tuesday series, and you know I was talking about the L, how to lead in love. I often talk about, if you're a woman, how to vet for a man, and that would be find a man who leads. L, he elevates those around. L, he leads in love, which we talked about on Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about E, he leads. E, he elevates those around him. And this is a form of leading, right? The E, he elevates those around him. And yesterday was L, leading in love. Now we're not going to talk about the A.D.S, which again, just so you'll know what they are. It's A, aspire for greatness. D, dedicated to the things and the people who he says he loves. And S, he serves his community through his knowledge, gifts, expertise, talents. And this is a man who is not just looking to make babies, but create legacies. And he's careful of who he creates these legacies with, i.e. he's careful of the woman who he's creating this child with. And so now we are going to talk about how a man can properly elevate you. We often talk about how a woman can be a cheerleader, be encouraging, bask in her femininity, because a lot of that is a woman who is elevating and influencing that man through her actions. I also talked about the amplified version of 1 Peter in chapter 3, where it talks about, after it talked about being submissive to your husband, not that you're inferior, but out of respect for him and in the things that he has to do as a man, right? Then it moved on to, you're not just going to adorn yourself in your beauty, but this is your inner beauty. How you encourage him and love him and treat him is going to be how he sees you, right? This is how he's going to learn to love you, especially if he's not one who is into the word of God. Just by your actions, you can turn him, you can influence him through your actions, not just by your beauty, but your inner beauty, how you speak and treat him. And so one of those talk about encouraging and loving and things like that. When you go in I like the amplified version of 1 Peter. So go in and read that. And I think that was in verse 3 and 4. So read into that. And so now that we talked about how you can do that as a woman, you got to also look for a man who knows how to elevate you, not treat you like gum at the bottom of his shoe. This also stems, as I mentioned, from L, a man who leads in love. Everything he says and does is going to be within love. Not that he may not scold you or show his disapproval. However, he's not going to condemn you, judge you, and mistreat you, right? He's going to show you his disapproval, but there's going to be tact to it. He's going to communicate in a healthy way, not a toxic way. And so in doing that, he's also going to elevate you. E. He is going to, whenever you're down, he's not going to help kick you down. He's not going to verbally annihilate you. He is not going to mentally annihilate you. But what he's going to do is say, hey, I know you can be better. I know you can do this. I believe in you. I trust in you. This is a form of love, because not only does it just say a woman submits to her husband, but it also says a man love his wife. Right now, if you're in a relationship and you're not married, these are still things that you can do so you'll be prepared when it's time to be married. What's the likelihood of, if you've never exercised some of these skills, that you're going to be great when you're married? So you can at least start now in showing love to the person who you say you care about. How you do that, you're going to elevate them. You're going to stimulate their mind to do and be better, not to make them feel bad or worse about themselves. This also goes into a level of self-love. So if you're a woman, you want to have self-love, because if not, a man is going to show you how what love is, and it may not be in a healthy way. And the best way to show that the man loves you is how he treats you. How is he treating you? Is he bringing you down, making you feel lower than you already do, or trying to make you feel low about yourself? The goal is to elevate you, not push you down, not stump on you like you're gum, treat you like crap, treat you like trash. If he's doing that, right? And this is more of the, not even the necessarily the verbal, but a lot of these things can be nonverbal. So someone may not have, done a lot of verbal annihilation. However, they may have done a lot of mental annihilation through their manipulation, through their actions. And so you do want to look at that. This is part of vetting. A lot of times we're sitting there vetting based off of how much money they have, the kind of car they have, how they're dressed, what they look like, the ambiance in the place that they, take you out on a date, when you should be looking at how does he act? Does he elevate you? Do you feel better about yourself? And when I say feel better about yourself, not that he compliments you on how you look so you feel like you look good on the outside, but how does he make you feel mentally? He should be mentally stimulating you. So you should feel better. You should have more self-love about yourself. Now, he should not complete you. I always say a man should compliment you, not complete you. My husband does not complete me. I am complete on my own. However, he does compliment me. So where there are some flaws, he helped builds me up there, and vice versa. He is complete without me. However, I am complementary, right, to him in the value that he has to offer. So you want to have some value to offer, but he should also have some value to offer you. I always say in a relationship, people should magnify and multiply the good in you. And this is a form of elevation. He should make you feel better about who you are as a person, with or without him around. So you shouldn't have to have him around to constantly put that in your head. But just like parents do, they're not going to always be in your head, but they're in your heart. So when they are not, as you've grown into an adult, when you're going to college or wherever you're going to work, you remember the things that they said. You remember that's ingrained in you. It's instilled in you, your values. And a lot of times we're with people who we need this constant gratification from them just so we can feel good about themselves. But that is not enough. You need to feel elevated when that person is speaking of you, about you, even when they're not speaking directly to you, but speaking of you towards someone else. So if they're talking to, a friend or family, if it's constant bringing you down and talking about you in a negative way, that's also poor. You want someone who is going to elevate you even when you're not in their presence, right? And so this is including when they're speaking with their friends or family members. Them allowing other people to try to devalue you and talk to you like trash is also a bad sign. So sometimes we're with people and we say it's love. If you watched another video of mine, I talk about love is not just an emotion. It's not just how I feel. I have this strong liking. We are talking about 1 Corinthians type of love. We are talking about that love that is more of an action word. It's a verb, right? And it can also be in the form of an adjective, however you want to say it, right? But it is a verb. It is something that requires a person to do something. Love makes you do something, right? And love is, right? And so understanding what truly what love is, love does elevate you. It is encouraging. It's not discouraging. So if every time this person is speaking of you, about you, and just even their action is making you feel less than, that's a problem. E is highly important. And if anything, if you notice in leads, L and E are the first two. So if they don't have that, who cares if they have ambition and dedication and they're living and serving their community, right? Who cares? Because they'll do all of that and they won't show you love and they won't elevate you. And all that's going to do is make you feel less valuable. So who cares the rest of what they do, because they can't fully lead without the L and the E. Understanding that would be highly important. A lot of times people are married to people who they feel that don't lead in love or elevate them. You want to be with someone who can do both. It's not a choice. It's not one or the other. It's not, well, I love you. I aspire for greatness. I'm dedicated. I serve my community. No, they must do all of these to properly lead. Just like I say, what good is it if a woman does everything but respect her man? I'm telling you, when there's no respect in a relationship, the relationship goes down. And again, part of respect for a woman is she needs to feel loved. So if a guy can't even show her love, and again, to show love, you must also elevate them. So there's no way a person can love you and then discourage you and make you feel less than. And if you feel that way, and a lot of times it could be in the form of dismissive, and sometimes people don't mean to be dismissive, but when they do that, then you have a crossroad. You don't wait till the 10th time they've done it. Now, if you've already done that, you still need to have a crossroad. But it's best that whenever someone in a relationship violates the L and the E, you have realized that they have crossed the line. They're not saying things with love and they're not elevating you. There should be a crossroad. You're at a point you're at a fork in the road in the relationship where you're saying, hey, I don't like this. I don't like how you spoke to me in this way, how you devalued me in this way. And I want to be treated with love and respect. And the same way I encourage you, I'd like to have that same level of encouragement. I cannot be in a relationship that does not offer that. If they do it again, the relationship comes to an end. Love yourself enough to walk away. When you show that I can forego that, then you've given them autonomy to go over and over and over again to show that they don't have to do those things. If a boss allows you to continue to do the same thing over and over if they told you not to, and you realize they've allowed that, what incentive is there to do and be better? So understanding that crossroads is like a pink slip at work. You get a pink slip, you do something again, then that's it. But when you don't provide those things for the person who you say that you want a true and committed and a healthy relationship with, they're going to believe that you don't want this true and healthy relationship. They believe that you like toxicity, because a lot of women like bad boys, and a lot of toxicity comes with that. But if you don't want toxicity, trust in the results. The results are you have to have a crossroad, and there's going to be a consequence to that action. And trusting that person will have a lot of respect for you, because I truly have a lot of respect for a man who respects himself enough to say, you know what? I don't get with women like this. That I would respect that. Even if I couldn't be with that person, I would respect that. Even for those who are married, I respect the fact that my husband has goals. They have that he has standards. And so understanding that when people have a certain line that you can't cross, then you find them to be respectable and you're likely to respect them more. However, if you feel like this person is just talking crap and they don't mean what they say, then you're going to lose respect for them. So the question is, do you want to be in a relationship because you're afraid for this relationship to go, so you're going to stay in this relationship? And then he's going to less likely respect you because all these values and standards you said you had, he's going to realize you never had it at all. You were just talking crap because you've allowed him to skip the L and the E. There's no incentive for him to give you the A, D, and S. The only incentive is for him to front like he's leading in love and elevating you and aspiring for greatness and dedicated and serving his community. It's to front like it just to hush you up. So the question is, do you want to be respected? And the best way you can be respected is by respecting yourself. Being with a man who knows how to lead in love. Being with a man who knows how to elevate you. And if he can't do that, then he's not to be the leader in your life. He's not to be the leader of your household. He's not to be the leader of your children. This is a man you don't need to give you, that you don't need his last name, and the children that you will have don't need it either. Now, if you already have children with him, still. Now, I'm not one to separate just because you guys don't have an I that you rip the children away from him. Now, mind you, if he's being physically and emotionally and, all of those things, then definitely, right? You need to cut ties. However, what I am saying is you want to make sure that you're properly vetting for the man that's in your life. And if he's not meeting those two requirements, leading in love, everything he says and does is within love, and elevating you rather than treating you at like gum at the bottom of his shoe, that you need to leave. All right? So that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I will be seeing you all on Tuesday. Take care.